Hello, my name is Frank Christensen and I'm the coordinator of officials for IFAF in Europe. In today's training tape, we're looking at reverse mechanics. So we'll have a look at how do we need to react when the ball, when there's a change of possession really. And how do we need to move and where do we need to look. So let's dive straight into the game film and see what we can learn. In this first clip, the change of possession is going to be, as you can see, as you will see, an interception. And that's really when everybody on the crew needs to switch right there. So now we've got the play going the other way, which of course means that the referee turns into a back judge, referee and center judge in a crew of 8. The back judge really turns into the trailing referee. The two deep wings now have responsibility for progress, so they are trailing the play like short wings would, and the umpire really turns into, well, an umpire just going the other way. And the wings, now let's have a look at the linesman up at the top. So the wings should turn into deep wings and stay ahead of the play. Instead here, this wing, for some reason, gets kind of, he freezes right there, and there's really nobody in front of him. So there's no reason for him not to be able to shift and start moving backwards and stay ahead of the play. Here instead he stays at his spot and then kind of trails the play. So right now we've got the wing, the linesman, the short wing and the deep wing with the same angle, and that's really not what we want. We'd much rather have the short wing now close to the goal line so that we can box in the play. Right? And the reason we want to do that is because have a look at what happens down there on the 5-yard line. Now we've got people pushing and shoving, and luckily nothing really happens. We certainly should have had eyes on this and certainly a talk to, but it looks like nobody really sees it. Now let's have a look at the umpire does a fairly good job. He stays in position, trying to look at stuff around the play. The referee, in a crew of 7, we'd like him back on the goal line also. So he would be turn into the back judge. In a crew of 8, his responsibility would be the quarterback, where the center judge should be on the goal line and moving towards the play. So in a crew of 7, the referee should be on the goal line also with the possibility to see these players on the 5-yard line. In a crew of 8, it would be the center judge who should be on the goal line moving towards there, certainly looking at the players. So that we have to still work as a crew, keep looking in the areas where it's less likely that anybody else would be looking, so that we get the best coverage possible. Now if we look at the deep wing here at the bottom, it's hard to tell where he's looking, but it certainly looks like he could be looking over at the runner, which really would be the wrong place to look. He should be cleaning up behind the play, and maybe he's doing that, in which case that would be good. But compare this crew to the next crew on the next play. So in the second play, the last play of the training tape, is a similar situation with a pick 6. But let's have a look at and compare the officials. So first of all, let's have a look at the short wings. They do a really good job here of first recognizing pass, and as soon as the pass is thrown, they both react down the field just the way they should. And as soon as the ball is intercepted, it comes the other way, both of them turn around and work really hard to stay in good position. So it's a very good job by the officials. Now they end up getting beat to the goal line, but sometimes it's just a result of the players being 20 years younger and much better athletes than we are at this point, at least. The only thing that movement is good. Movement is one thing. The next thing is that while you're staying in front of the play, that you're actually looking at blocks and stuff like that, looking at the players. So you're not just fighting for your life to try to get in position, but you're actually looking at where you need to be looking. The umpire does also a really good job. He turns around with the pass, and then just kind of stays put and follows the players as they move around him. So he does a really good job also. Now let's have a look at we can see one deep wing over there on the other side of the field. Oop, there you go. He starts coming back. Really good reaction to the play, knowing that he has to come up and cover the play in a completely different way now. And again, watching the runner is one thing, but also watching players, watching blocks and stuff, because we're not that concerned with forward progress. We would be concerned with a face mask foul or anything like that. But other than that, it's blocks, it's holding, blocks in the back, because all of a sudden now all the angles change. So across the field, he does a really good job. Now let's have a look at this sideline, and right here in the middle of the field, or in the middle of the screen rather, on the sideline is number 51, and he is out in the white, so he is a potential problem. But the deep wing here does a really good job of what we tend to call a banana. So as you're coming down the sideline here, you have to get inside the 25s. That especially if you're on the side of the field where the happy team is, there can be a little bit of movement out there, but just move onto the field, run on the hash marks instead of in the white, and you can avoid this guy, and you can avoid trouble. The philosophy says don't trouble, and if we can handle this situation by running on the field, instead of running into him and potentially risking injury. Now we have to have a flag on the field. Now we have to stop the game to enforce it. We can just run around him, and right there the official actually stops and goes back to do a talk to. That might be a little bit too early. Make sure that the play is over, but it's a good way to avoid trouble and to keep the game moving. Now it does look like this official is looking at the runner, and he really shouldn't be, even though he theoretically has responsibility for progress and for the end of the play. And in this situation with the runner all the way over there, he really can't do much for progress. So it'd be better just to follow the play, clean up, make sure nothing funky happens in the middle, and do that. And then talk to is good, but that might be a little bit too fast to do it. We could still have stuff going on the field. So last but not least, I think this is a crew of 7, so the referee needs to do everything he can to get to the goal line and be there when the runner crosses. In a crew of 8, obviously he would stay and be responsible for the quarterback, while the center judge would get to the goal line. So again, it's really a question of recognizing what you need to do in a given situation and do whatever nobody else on the crew is likely to do. And that was the training tape on reverse mechanics. I hope it made sense, and I hope you found something you can use on the field.